Happy Saturday, my lovely bees. Oh my goodness, I've just recorded about 18 minutes worth of content with my microphone switched off. So it just goes to show, sometimes you start stuff and things go wrong, you know, but you gotta just laugh and do it anyway. The direction that went in was about infinite possibility. I trailed off on a tangent of how much stuff there is to do here, and that really boredom doesn't exist. I think boredom is something that we convince ourselves of, or that we think we have, because our minds are geared towards consuming and consumerism rather than creating and seeing the possibilities. One thing I love about oh gosh, I've lost the word. Free running and parkour, that's it. One thing I love about parkour and skating as well is that people look at random stuff, like they will look at a set of steps or a gap between some buildings or a fence or something weird, and they think, yeah, like I could do a flip round here and jump off here like this and all sorts. It's just fascinating. When we use our minds, we really can't be bored. When we create, we really can't be bored. But on the other hand, there's almost so much to do that it's overwhelming. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get stuck in freeze almost, because there is so much to do and there's so much I want to do as well. I just don't even know where to start. But nonetheless, we, pick something, do it anyway. I think I said something about letting go of expectations as well. That's something I've found tricky, but I'm practicing daily, trying to let go of expectations, be like water, go with the flow. It's nice to have structure, but at the same time, I think when, let's take, for example, starting a creative project. I think the freeze comes in for me when my head gets too tangled up on needing something to be done and finished and perfect and wonderful and get all the, great dopamine hit from that at the end. And then validation afterwards from others or whatever it is, rather than enjoying the process and what the process is doing for me. I think that's applicable just with life in general. Creative projects is a wonderful example of that. But yeah, I think starting something, it's knowing that you're going to get somewhere. When you move, when you do stuff, you are going somewhere. You're going to do, something and get something from the end of it. Like, something's going to happen. It's really easy to convince ourselves that nothing is going to happen, or that we won't like what will happen. And I think that's anxiety, isn't it? That's the epitome of anxiety, is just living in the future, thinking that we know or needing to know. Something I struggle with personally a lot, that I'm, teaching myself out of, attempting to rewire my brain into presence. Because they say that depression's living in the past. So when we're focused on what has already been, what has already happened, when we're replaying conversations in our mind that have already happened, stuff that's already happened, that's, we feel stuck in that. We stop moving. We stop moving because our mind and even our body, like chemically, vibrationally, our body is there too. If in fact time isn't linear, that is kind of true, you know. I find my mind dipping between depression and anxiety, the past and replaying stuff, and the future and playing things, scenarios in my head that haven't even happened. And walking out in nature has really helped me with presence, gratitude, appreciation. It's like practicing, just attempting each day, or whenever I notice my mind has wandered off into the past or has wandered off into the future, just trying to come back to presence and see what is in front of me, feel, use all of my senses. You know, we're sensory beings. To use those senses and be where we are is quite tricky for most people. Like, there are some very malicious agendas, which if you pay attention to the world, you'll know this. There's some very malicious agendas that try to keep us in those other states of mind, like it trapped in the past or too latched onto the future. And presence is really powerful. And I think it's really powerful, like how we notice each other as well. And I think it's important that we try to remind each other to stay present. Or if we notice somebody else has wandered off, their mind has wandered off into the past, or, you know, is trying to run into the future, then I think it's important that we try to bring each other back to presence too. And ultimately, if you notice someone else doing that, you're going to notice it in yourself too. And so that requires you to be present to help guide them back into presence, into experience, you know, direct experience, direct interaction with what is going on around us. It's why I believe that creativity, creative projects, music, are like making a piece of art, building something, even driving, walking, whatever requires your focus and attention can really regulate the nervous system if we let it, you know. There are so many things that are attacking our nervous systems now, attempting to attack our presence, our consciousness, to feed off that energy, you know, to feed off the fear and to re-perpetuate that narrative as well. There are so many ideas and thoughts and so much noise around us that is intentionally trying to re-perpetuate the past, like war or whatever it is, but we're just not there anymore. There's so many things like that. I think that's why these agendas, you know, these malicious, evil agendas that are playing out in the world now are having to try so hard, because actually it seems to me that the majority of us are finding it easier and easier to be present, and we're actually having more desire to be present because it feels better. We feel better. You know, it was much easier when we didn't have the televisions full of programs coming through channels, you know, and phones as well. And these things aren't innately bad. Like, I don't think that they are innately bad things, but the way that they are being used to manipulate consciousness, manipulate our vibration on a mass scale is, it's rancid. It's horrible. But that's why I think it's even more important that we come together at this time, at this crazy time in the world. I think that is why it's even more important we come together and remind each other to stay present, to be where we are, with who we're with, doing what we're doing and feeling all of it with every inch, with every nerve. God, I don't even know how many nerves we've got. I could pull up a load of statistics and, well, not statistics, but facts about that right now. We are divine technology here to interact, and yet we are trying to escape. We're trying to escape Eden, but Eden isn't the problem. The earth and what's here, and the beauty, the love, the flow of nature and of the seasons, and the pleasure of food, the pleasure of sex, the pleasure of touch, of breath, of sound, of music, like all of that stuff. Wow. That is there for us all the time. All the time. And I firmly believe that this is the medicine, like this is what we're here for, is to interact in all of those things. And there's been some wacky stuff going on in the world to attempt to destroy that. And I don't really know why. I think it's a huge misunderstanding, a huge misunderstanding on the part of these people, of the 1% and those who tear down from that. I think it's a massive misunderstanding. They sort of have thought, oh, wow, we figured it out, now we must keep it all to ourselves, we must hoard it all, otherwise we're going to run out. But hello, it's a renewable source. This energy does not run out. It can't. It can only transform. It can only keep transforming and transforming and transforming. And I think we have this really interesting way of seeing things like an us and them type narrative going on at the minute. Us versus them. Us versus them. Really, I think that they are the ones that need healing. They are the ones that have gone down that route, chosen those things, got it sorely wrong, and now needed the example of the masses, of us, to go, wait, no, like, you don't get it. If we share it all, if we share in this wisdom, in the laws of the universe, in the magic, in the prosperity, the secrets, if we share these things, there will always be enough for everyone. And there will always be more, and then more and more and more and more. It just continues. I think that there really has been this misunderstanding that it's going to run out. And I firmly believe that that is why these groups of people, whoever we want to blame, some people say the Rothschilds, it really depends on what information you have and how you look at it and whatever. But let's take what those sort of groups of people are doing as just a narrative. That narrative does not make any sense now. With what we've learned, with the science, the literal science that we have learned through experience, through contrast, through experimentation, that does not make any sense anymore. And so here we are, we can keep moving forward, settling into the new world. People are manifesting their truest and deepest desires, and there will always be more and more and more. And yeah, I just think that's magic. That's wow. Like, wow. There is so much fear and so much lack mentality. And yet, when you really, really think about it and go into that, it's easily disproved. Easily. We are in Eden, you know. This is heaven on earth. It really just depends on where your mind is and how we're looking at it. And that doesn't mean that everything is perfect all the time. It doesn't mean that all the stuff going on in the world is just going to stop the moment you decide to think this way. It doesn't mean war is going to stop the moment you decide to think this way. No, like, we are where we are collectively. And we're healing, we're understanding, we're growing and evolving collectively. We've made a lot of mistakes. We've gone down some interesting routes and realised, oh, okay, that didn't work. But I suppose it's much like the first set of humans that were trying different berries and trying different mushrooms and seeing which ones we could eat and which ones we couldn't. We're constantly testing our own survival, constantly testing how to survive and what we need to do that. And yeah, these groups of people, the sort of smaller groups of people, have tested this theory of, oh, this is what we need to do, and then we need to hoard it, and then we need to use them, and it just doesn't work. Oh, blimey. Well, it's almost 1 o'clock, Saturday the 11th of January 2025, and life is good. Keep focusing on what you want to build, where you want to go, how you want to feel, how you would prefer to feel, because we're in control. It's a choice all the time. It doesn't mean that we won't feel bad stuff or be affected by our environment or anything, but ultimately, in the long run, we constantly have a choice. I wish I could blend together what I'd said the first time I attempted to record this with this recording, because there was some real golden nuggets in there, but we won't dwell on that. I really appreciate all your support. I hope that as we continue this adventure, continue to unravel the mysteries of the mind, of life, science, all of this kind of thing, music, creativity, that we just find more and more joy along the way, and that people become closer and closer and more knitted together. This is really my intention with having started this, is to bring people together, to bring us together in our ideas, because I really believe we each hold a piece of the puzzle. We are each a piece of this interesting puzzle. You know, they say that everyone's perspective makes up the truth. You know, we seem to be on this quest for purpose, this quest for knowledge, for the truth about why we're here and what's going on and all of that. And this is really what I would like to set as an intention for us, is for people to come together with the bee's knees through this ever so weird time, and put those pieces together and open up our eyes, open our third eyes, you know, to realize the beauty that we're living. to realize and to make better choices as well, to make more fulfilling, more loving, positive choices. When we can sit and I like to say understand rather than understand. When we can sit and understand each other's perspectives, even if it's vastly, vastly different to our own, when we can sit and choose, like consciously choose to ponder the opposite perspective and see how that plays into the universal truth. Oh my goodness, like that's magic, that's powerful. To me, that is where tyranny ends. That is where war ends. And so even if we only do this on our little corner of the planet, you know, we're all playing a part in this, and all playing a part in the theatrics, in the theatre of it all. We all have our role, and if we can bring those together, influence each other's roles, influence each other's perspectives, find divine truth together with open minds and open hearts, with curiosity being the operative word, really. And we can sit together in absolute curiosity, to let go of the ego, to let go of certainty, to let go of the need to be right or the need to convince others of our individual perspective, and rather to add to our own perspective, to keep adding to our own perspective, so that we in consciousness grow together and start to comprehend our universal truth. That is what I really, really would like to come from this. So if you want to be involved, if you want to come and have a chat, like, let's do it. If you want to come share your piece and, you know, find some more pieces for yourself too, come along. Like, please don't hesitate to email, don't hesitate to message, because this is really what it's about now, is at times like this, it's about us coming together in community and putting these pieces together. To regulate ourselves, to explore and find our divine power together, is just the ultimate magic. It's the ultimate magic. I hope to travel the world with this too. I hope to really blend all of our perspectives, because I feel like this is part of my purpose, you know? And I want to know what your purpose is. I want to share and pick up those pieces from you too, and have you pick them up from me, and us just find the absolute joy and fun and bliss in that, because it is play, you know? It might be deep stuff that we talk about and ponder, but ultimately, like, we're just playing. It's just play, and it is fun. Like, when we really see this life, this place that we're interacting with, and thoughts and all of this stuff with fun and with joy, like, it's hilarious. It is a blast. My friend Seema calls it the cosmic giggle. I don't know if she got that from somewhere or whether that was out of her mind, but that made me laugh. It made me giggle because I can relate. It really is. The cosmic giggle is that we individually, we know nothing, but together we know it all. We know everything. We are everything and nothing. So yeah, hit me up if you want to be a part of it. Thank you so much for all your support so far. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is like the first first introduction, so I can appreciate it's a little bit blocky and unsure, but you know, we live, we learn, we roll with it. Like me recording a whole thing and it not working out, it's fine. Just if you're going to do a podcast, remember to turn your microphone on. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful, blessed and joyful day. Keep living your truth, being you. Just be, baby.